And a happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the United States celebrating it. Of course, a very special episode of Call Me Mr. Broadstreet, as I hope folks in the United States or anywhere are enjoying their turkey stuffing, whatever you're going to have, gravy, or just a day off, whatever you may or may not celebrate. All are welcome on this channel, of course. So today's episode, we're basically focusing on a nice promo folder right here. This is legal size. Right here. Now, these were a whole bunch of adverts for Give My Regards to Broadstreet, but they were actually 30-second TV spots. So I'm going to be going through some photos and everything, but just to kind of show a few little quick bits from the kit itself. Got a nice little TV spot right here. Let's see, we've got some real numbers as well as I'm just kind of going through. Got something for a Mr. Lance Thompson, freelance writer, North Hollywood. This is sort of a nice little artifact right here. And then, of course, finally, we've got actually reels, pulls, and codes. Reel number 1, reel number 2, as you're going to see on this legal piece of paper right here. Like I said, I'm going to be showing all these, but this is just kind of a very cool piece of movie memorabilia, obviously being related to Broadstreet. I found it off of eBay from a seller, Greg's Fun Shop out in LA, a plug for you out there. Just basically, this person has a lot of stuff with Hollywood, being based out of Los Angeles. You know, I don't know what the numbers here. These numbers right here, it says 784. And then right here, it says 5654. Not quite sure what all that means. It's probably a production code, something along those lines, within, you know, the project itself. Now, let's think about how movies are promoted. We still have 30-second spots and everything, but it's all online now, or you may get a TV spot. But, you know, back then, a little bit different flavor. I mean, yes, you still had TV spots and everything, but you get this right here. You get a nice little dialogue tracker right there. Really a whole bunch of nice stuff. And, I mean, this was... You know, this I've never seen before. This whole folder right here, I'm just excited to kind of go through it again. And even funny enough, there's this right here, all put in a yellow legal pad. So what it looks like to me is just some of the real numbers and everything like that that goes through. So, you know, it's just a really cool piece of memorabilia to have. It's not something, as I've said, I've ever really seen before. As we're going to go through, just kind of showing a few photos and everything that hopefully folks will find interesting. I'm sure, you know, folks are probably going to take some photos and everything, but it's a really cool piece of memorabilia to have, as I've said. I know I'm repeating myself, but, you know, it's just happy to have this. I'm really happy to have this as part of the collection. And just to kind of prove that, yes, it is actually 40 years old, here's an interesting little side note right here. And yes, I'm wearing the gloves because obviously I want to protect it from acid and things like that, finger, you know, acid and things like that. This right here, that's probably not going to capture it too well. But trust me, these paper clips are well rusted. Let me see if I can find a bigger paper clip to give us as sort of an example. Right here, right there. Sort of a nice rusted paper clip right there. It's probably not going to focus on it too well, but just trust me on this one, folks. It's aged, you know, like all of us, right? But you know, just a wonderful find. So it's just you know, it's also really going into another goal that I have. Eventually, it may take a long time if it ever does happen. I would love to be able to find sort of, as I've probably said in other videos, basically the reels, the tapes itself of the film canisters, you know, what would be shown in the theaters way back when it was on 35 millimeter as opposed to digital projection that we have now. So now that I have basically different codes, real numbers, everything like that, I don't know where that's going to take me, and this could be a multi-year thing, so it's not something I'm expecting to have next week. But again, just really cool to have. I love having the press kits. I love the intersection of music and movies with Broadstreet. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and just take a look at a few photos and examples, and I'll kind of give some commentary and maybe some interesting observations starting now. Okay, welcome everybody. Well, this is where we're going to go ahead and peer into the contents of the folder. And what I'm doing is just giving a little bit of a synopsis of everything, not the entire folder, obviously. I don't want to be here all day, and I don't think you do either. Kind of cool to see the photo, though, close up. And here we go, Lance Thompson, freelance writer. I tried to look him up, but funny enough, I couldn't find anything for him. So, there was a couple different people that came up, and if you figure it out, someone in their 30s would be in their 70s, etc., etc. I'm going to try my hand at reading this copy. Here we go. The motive is a mystery. The perpetrator is at large. The method was simple, and the consequences have just begun, because if a missing $6 million tape isn't found in the next 24 hours, someone will be forced to make a sequel. Paul McCartney, give my regards to Broadstreet, rated PG. I know I flubbed up one of the words, but just kind of interesting to see, the address, kind of the type and everything like that, the copy that they were writing and rewriting, I'm sure for many different 30-second ads. So I think it's just kind of really cool to see this and to have this. And right here, what we're looking at is the pull and the code for the different reels. So we see Not Such a Bad Boy, so we can tell by pull 4, the code ending in 6668, that's Not Such a Bad Boy. That's from the warehouse sequence where they're doing the rock, different rock songs. Of course, Big Bob walks by, giant haystacks on the film itself. So, again, just kind of interesting to see what they were going to use for the different 30-second spots, ads, and everything else that we're looking at here. And we just continue, of course, with, let's see here, we've got Paul rips paper out of sheath. Oh yeah, this is the boardroom meeting sequence, part of it anyways. And again, it's just really cool to have the reels, the codes, everything like that. If I should ever be able to find the film canisters themselves someday, maybe someday, who knows? I'm quoting old Brown Shoe here. Anyways, so just looking through and seeing these. Now this next one's kind of interesting. Prism recording services, so narration logs, so they're circling all these numbers. I've got to assume these are the ones that they were going for, at least in contention, for the 30-second ad. If there's anyone else out there that does voiceover, I'd be curious to get your take on it. And especially, again, these are methods that are, 40 years old, so I'm sure we're using a lot more, current methods for selecting the different spots, ads, recordings, and everything like that that's available. A little bit more. Here we go. No More Lonely Nights at the railroad station. Again, just having these different codes. Wrath in the Building, conference table, Paul as panhandler, back to real-time boardroom. So we can see just kind of the different sequences of the film. And this right here, written in yellow legal pad. I enjoy this. It's probably, I'm guessing, just maybe the final sequence, maybe some notes. I really can't quite tell, but it's just very cool to have, and it's a cool piece, part of the memorabilia that I really enjoy having. And as we see, well, spoiler alert, everything worked out fine. They got the tapes at the end, and that's just about it. We're going to go ahead and start returning you to the video proper and the proper outro. Here we go. Well, that's it. As Paul said at the end of the compact disc version on Goodnight Princess off of Give My Regards to Broadstreet, I hope that you've enjoyed listening to this as much as I've enjoyed providing this to you. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, of course. But again, just a very cool thing to have right here. And a lot of nice information. I had to remove some staples and everything, but I've got photos of the entire thing. The eventual plan is with a binder to bring with me to different places. So eventually this could go on tour along with so many other pieces of memorabilia that I have. As I've said, I just hope everybody's enjoying the holidays, Thanksgiving holiday in America. And I will see everybody in the next videos. So until then, be safe, everybody, and catch you on the next one. Bye.